Father Innaiah. He is a Capuchin Franciscan priest from the Marymatha Province in India. He is a Professor of Theology and Psychology at the Institute of Theology and Philosophy. He holds a master's degree in psychology and a diploma in Pastoral Counseling. He obtained his licentiate and doctorate in Moral Theology from the Pontifical Alphonsian Academy in Rome, and he has over 21 years of priestly service. He has served the Catholic Church in various capacities, both in India and abroad. Let's give Father Innaiah a big warm applause.
Good evening, friends.
Good evening, Brother.
How are you today?
Great. We're in your presence.
Thank you. I am also happy and excited to come here. Actually, I am invited for last month of February. Though I agreed, by unforeseen program, I had to cancel that one. But God gave me another chance to come this month. And this is better, as I think, because I had published this book as a souvenir for my 60th birthday. So in the last December, I celebrated 60th birthday. So as my experience in teaching and in life and animating different persons in their lives as a priest, so these are the reflections of life and experience. Then I was sharing some of my friends here. Then they asked me whether I could translate into English. Then I started working to translate into English with the help of my brother. My brother also is a Capuchin priest. He is working in Germany. So he is also pursuing his PhD studies in Germany. So my brother and me both worked nearly a month and we translated to English. So English is the copy is this one. Rhythm of life. The foundations for happiness, integrity and flourishing. If anyone asks me or you, what do you want in life? We will be asking, we will be saying all the three. Happiness and integrity and flourishing in abundance. So, how we can achieve them? As a life, how we can achieve that? So, this book consists of 11 chapters. In this book, 10 chapters are there. One is later I translated, and already I think some of you have attempted that questionnaire. Have you? Yeah. Questionnaire is to evaluate oneself and one's family. Because we are what we are from our family. That's why you say, parents are seen gods. None of us have seen God as physical entity where we can feel, touch and talk to God. But God sends mother in His name, in His personality. And from mother, the child knows what God is, who God is, where God is, how God is. And that is the perception that we grow in our lives. And by mistake or by chance or some tragedies happen in our childhood, not to all, but here and there it may happen. But such kind of individuals will have difficulty to accept God as a loving Father. Difficulty to say a merciful Father, a loving Mother. That's why they negate there is no God. Because they didn't experience when they were children. That's why when we are born, our minds are like tabula rasa. The Latin word, tabula rasa. That means a white paper.
Nothing.
White. No impressions. Then everything comes from the impressions to that child, from the mother first. That's why our life doesn't begin with birth. Our human life begins from conception. When a child is in the womb of a mother, the mother's situation also imprints on the child. And that impressions remain forever unless they are dealt and the wounds are cleansed or healed. There are so many systems where we can heal our wounds, inner wounds. But we need to take time and have patience. That's why we take the life journey. So it is not a mere journey that what we are making. The journey continues from the conception and it varies ups and downs, different situations. But if we are remaining founded on faith, and that faith gives us meaning for our life. That is one of the important aspects. That's why this book I have written from faith perspective. From the faith perspective, from church perspective, from Christ perspective. So those are not taking this perspective of faith for Christ or church, they will not agree what is given here. But to understand this book, not only to understand the book, to understand oneself. That's why sometimes we ourselves do not understand ourselves. That's why it is said sometimes in a married life, it is said they may live married life of 60 years, 70 years. Then at the age of, after married life, 60, 70 years, suppose you ask the couples, did you understand your wife? Suppose you ask a man, he says no. Suppose woman you ask, did you understand your husband? She also says no. Then when will they understand? No. It is difficult to understand. Because each of us are unique. The number of years that we live is not important. But if you have perspective, if both of them have faith perspective, it's easy to understand. Within 1 year or 10 years we can understand. Because both are walking along. That's why in this book I say marriage is a journey together. Marriage is a journey together with accompaniment of Christ. Christ is, that's why in marriage, there are not two people. Usually we see only two couples, man and woman. But in marriage, from faith perspective, there is a third one. The divine. God perspective. That's why priest stands there as representative of God in the marriage time, blessing of the marriage. So when live together in divine company, and that life is completely different than when two of them live life. And our families also, when we see, in family, no husband and wife live. Always there should be place for God. God is the third person in the family. And that's where the Christian foundation, Christ perspective of our life comes. Suppose the third aspect, the divine aspect for our life, if it is not there, then there will be troubles, confusion, and do not know how to go, where to go. Things will be happening without our control. That's why at times those who go away from God, go away from the perspective of faith, they will not be able to understand their own life. Then think, suppose they are in charge of an office or a community or section of people to order or to guide them, how it will be, much more confusion will take place. Like suppose you take the example of a driver. If you call a driver to take us to destination, suppose driver do not know the way. Let us find out. Then it will be our confusion. So also in our families, mother, father, they are the faith builders. When they understand God, when they experience God, and that God perspective, they give their children. That's one of the important perspective in life, to be happy. Without God, humans cannot be happy. As St. Augustine says, no? Lord, our souls are created for you. Unless you touch us, we will not be happy. That is the case of every believer, every child of God. And for us, the clue is how I can become the child of God. Already we have become in our baptism. But we have to start living. When we live, things happen. That's one of the perspective. Okay, after saying this, I would like to explain. There are some copies behind. If you follow this one, I will be explaining what is the meaning of this cover image. Because with a purpose, I took this image for the cover page. So at least those who are not having copies are behind. Can someone help? So if you can take copy, then it will be easier. Yeah, those are copies. You can just see how many hearts are there. How many hearts on the picture, the image? Two? Yes. Any other number? It takes little time to observe them. If you observe, the more you observe, the great the meaning you get. All of us are tripartite beings. Tripartite means three levels: body, mind, and soul. As God created us, body and soul. Then in the body there is mind, which is like a guiding force. So that gives us our meaning. So here the outer circle, the outer is the body. Then inner there is small heart. That is our soul. Then in between these both small and bigger hearts, there is a space in the same cover page like a greenish. That is our mind or our brain. So our body, our brain, then our soul, tripartite, 3 level. Then there is a lifeline is going through. Lifeline, touching all the 3. Especially this picture we will be coming to know, and its intensity and its meaning when you are in the cardiology department. When we enter a cardiology department, yes, is a replica of our heart or the patient's heart. When patient is on the bed, is connected to the machine, and that sound goes on, is a lifeline. And all the doctors and medical personnel will be watching that line. If that line is there, life is there. If that stops, no sound from the machine, then that person is no more. So here also, that line I represent as lifeline from God. God's lifeline in our lives. Constantly, without stopping. From our birth till the last moment, God's life is flowing to us. That's why it is said, God gives us life so that life we may use for others so that they may have life. John 10:10. Gospel says, John 10:10 says, Christ came into the world so that he may give life in abundance. So also, all of us are given life not mere for ourselves, but through us to others. That is the purpose of life that God has given to each one of us. And down, can you see the stand the heart is standing on? The stand. Down. What do you interpret?
The base.
Base, yeah. It's a base as a structure. But any intentionality? Intention? That is according to my understanding, that is the nuptial ring, marriage bond between the couples. On the day of marriage, they exchange the rings to show we are bound together forever according to God's plan. And from the nuptial bond relationship comes the child, new birth, new being. New individual comes from the marriage. And for the new child, this is the new child. For the new child, the base is parents. Base. As this heart is standing on the base, so also individual's life stands on the life of the child's parents. All, their physical life, their mental life, their spiritual life, their social life, everything stands taken from, like we say, DNA is taken from parents. So, parents are not mere physical DNA, they also give spiritual DNA. They also give mental DNA. Then slowly develops. The child develops gradually in the life, but first 5 years, very important time for the child. From the conception to 5 years is very crucial time for the personality, growth of personality. Then only afterwards only we send them to the school. After 5 years only we send them to school, leaving home and entering into the society. Then again 10 years, very important. Then after 16, the child can be of oneself, but everything depends on what these 15 years meant, how these 15 years are, the impressions, the experiences, also the faith experience. That's why we say when God is not present in the family, surely such kind of child will not have presence of God in their lives. Because parents are not introduced. Not only introducing, they have not experienced God in the family. So family is not mere physical cohabitation, much more spiritual living, divine experience. Also is a psychological understanding. All this is a bundle of relationships. Family. That's why I say family is like cradle. From cradle comes everything. What we are, it reflects our family. That's why I gave a questionnaire. I think some of you might have attempted for the questionnaire. Yeah. So at the end I will give the result. Yeah, it's like a questionnaire, is a reflective questionnaire to understand oneself. The beauty or the wisdom or the strength of our person depends on if he can understand oneself. That's why the first understanding of our life should be know thyself. Know yourself. Once we try enter into our own selves, then we will have the courage to be, to stand, to understand the world. There's the beauty of it, there's the strength, there's the wisdom of God. But most of us make the travels outward. That's why here also I explain this one. Journey towards the world. From center, this soul, we travel to outside through mind and through body to the world. But as a believer, we are in the world, as St. Paul says, but we are not of the world. There's a faith perspective. But when we want, that's why it's called, there is this one, market value. Most of us know market value. What will be the market value? The value of the same thing will be differently valued in different places. Suppose in the heart of the city, one souvenir of a t-shirt may cost $20. But the same t-shirt in outskirts it will be only $2. Why? Because the value changes. If the same factory is produced and same design is there, everything is same, but only place is different, that's called market value. And most of us also humans want to live in the market value. Others want to, we have to impress others. We have to be appreciated by others. Others have to recognize me. And for that recognition, for that attention, we will be doing so many attempts, different attempts. That because the market value. We need the attention of others. But that is not alone enough. That's why sometimes we work all the day. At the end of the day, still we are not content. We are not happy. What happened? I did everything possible. But at the end of the day, or at the end of the year, I am not happy, not satisfied, not contented. Why? The reason is, when we try to live in the market value, into the world philosophy, world values, then our personality, our soul will not be happy. But there is another journey reverse. Reverse is from the world to soul. From the world to soul. Because God has created us, every one of us, with a personal, special, unique identity and purpose. Unless we experience that purpose of God, that's why he said, God has a dream for every one of us. When we dream the same dream of God for us, that is the fulfillment. That is the joy. That is the integration. That is the abundance. That's the flourishing. But it needs a challenging task. Conviction. I am a child of God. God knows what's happening in me. I am not alone. Why this suspense? Why unforeseen turnings in life? But God has a purpose. Only we need to abandon ourselves. Lord, let thy will be done. Like Mother Mary. When Annunciation is made, she was not able to understand. But her faith gave her the strength to say, Lord, let thy will be done. I am your handmaid. I am your creature. You are the creator. So that gives us the journey inside to the soul. That's why I named this one journey. It is a journey towards soul. So our journey, are we going to the values of the world, or are we going try to find out values of God? So our journey towards outside to the world, or are we making journey inner to find out inside the purpose of my life? And that's this said, GPS. Now most of us will be using GPS, no? Google has helped us, and any new place we can venture if you have this Google Maps. At present. That's why any part of the world we can come and we can go if you have GPS. I call GPS this one, God's plan for the soul. So we need to have the GPS, God's plan for the soul. What is the plan of God for me, my soul? So it is, we are not mere what we say, just body what is seen. That's why our soul is the foundation. And from there comes everything. That's why most of our sicknesses also, doctors will be saying, psychosomatic. Psychosomatic. Connected with soul. That's why there's a difference of meaning. Psyche, in the Greek word, psyche means, it has two meanings. One is mind, other one is soul. And most of the understanding, what in the psychology is taken the word mind or the brain. So that's called psychology. But from the faith perspective, from the Catholic perspective, psyche means soul. That's why I coined this term as soulology, not psychology, soulology. If psyche means mind or the brain, it equally means psyche means soul. But it is a forgotten aspect. It is a forgotten aspect. But that is the one where our feelings, our emotions, our relations, our expectations, everything comes from this source, soul. So each of us can, if we reflect our own life, all of us will agree. The soul is the source ground. The soul is the one where all the emotions, feelings erupt. And there God is residing. And that's why we say, whatever religion they may belong, in whichever country they may live, after death, everyone prays for the repose of the soul. Equally, believers and non-believers, even those who say atheists, they don't believe, but they will pray for the repose of the soul. That is our human existence. So, this soul to have fulfillment, we need to have both psychological integrity and spiritual empowerment. Fulfilled life comes, happy life is the result of psychological integrity. That's our personal. That's why this book I put Rhythm of Life, Intrapersonal Development. Intrapersonal development. That is to say, first oneself. Suppose when we learn any language grammar, there is three persons are there in the grammar. Who are they? Who are they in the grammar? Suppose we are learning a new language, we need to learn grammar of that language. In every language there are three persons. Who are they? First person, second person, third person. With that only all grammar of a language depends. So also grammar of life. Grammar of life depends first person, you or me. If I am not there, all others are not there. In the grammar also, if the first person is not there, does the grammar exist? No. Grammar exists only for the first person. And how they are related is the second person. Immediately if the person is in front of me, he becomes second person or she becomes second person. Suppose they are not in front of me, then they become third person. Somewhere. So also ours is a grammar of life. Grammar of life. So if you know the grammar of life, as we know, if you have learned grammar well, you can speak well that language. Proficiency, eloquence, and rich meaning words we can use because you have learned grammar well. So also, to be, our life should be happy, integral, and flourishing, or in abundance. We also should know grammar of life. So there's a link I build: grammar of life, grammar of language. As a first person, so also me, as a person, I must be able to understand first my integrity, my faith, my values, then my goal, then my interpersonal relationships. That's why in the families also, why the division of family comes. When I demand certain help from others, if they are not obliging, then I hate them. But reverse you put, suppose others are asking some request from me. Suppose I deny, same response will come. But why? How I can? That's why his life is that's why the word love, it has various nuances. By constantly using some of the words, lost their original meaning. Some of the words, especially the word love. The word love, very often overused or misused. Sometimes it's abused. But the real meaning of love, from the faith perspective, that's why on the cross, what Jesus said, how much do you love That's why cross, he extended his hands. On the cross, Jesus extended his hands to east and west, south and north. I love so much. What is that one on the cross? The death, suffering, humiliation, death. That's why love means, that's why in the families also we see, those who are loving, they bear. They accept others. They adjust themselves. That's why mother's sacrifice is the foundation ground for the life of a child. And all of us are here because our mothers made a sacrifice. Especially when we are young, infants. We do not know anything. Even the word we do not know. Even we are not able to perceive anything. But that time, the tough time for the mother. Even fathers sometimes may take some chance, but mothers, sometimes children are not able to sleep. They have to allow mother to sleep, but at the same time, all night spending, and again daytime have to go for work, other responsibilities. So life of a mother is a sacrifice, a constant sacrifice. But God gave that secret of making sacrifice to mothers. Even when we say childbirth, that is the crucial pain for the childbirth. But when child is born, mother forgets the pain because a life has come into the world. All pain is gone and the child is happy and mother is happy. Souls in our personal lives, in our faith lives, if we are ready to undertake pain, the way of the cross. Now we are doing in the Lenten time, we are doing the stations of the cross. But our life sometimes becomes the stations of the cross. But we need to be encouraged. We need to be strengthened. God is with me. I am walking along with God. And that gives us the courage. That gives us the spirit of life. And that is what gives us a meaning for our life. So, in this book, I have written the different chapters. You can go through and this one, first I am explaining as a human life as rhythm. First chapter, I am dealing with human life as rhythm. Everything has its own rhythm. There is a flow. All the animate and inanimate things has a flow. As a music, we know, rhythm is there. So also our human life, individual's life. Then, how we can get meaning, being human, second chapter. In the image of God, God has created me in the image of God. Then, third chapter, who am I? Identity seeking. That's why if you can find out, if you can know thyself, that is the secret of your success, secret of your goal, achieving your goal, and happiness creating. Then, foundations of human life, how our family becomes a background for our growth. Then, fifth chapter, the family background. The family background, as I said, the DNA is not only of the physical DNA, but also faith DNA and psychological DNA. Then sixth one, marriage, the journey together. As you are an individual, unique person created by God, your companion or your partner also is created by God equally. So that's called respect, reverence. When we can give to our companion or partner, and that is the holiness of life comes. So usually there is a tendency, respect and reverence expect from others. Others have to respect me, or my partner has to respect me. What about me respecting my partner? That is a hard question. It's a hard question to deal. But if you can Respect, before ever you expect the respect from others, that is the secret of life. Secret of success is with us, not with others. Then, seventh one is the uniqueness of you. Unique. There is no Xerox copy. In this book we have made a number of copies. Again still we can make. Because we see everything will be the same. But each of us are not unique. Even identical twins are not unique. You say they are similar, but they are unique. Identical twins also. So each individual God sends with a purpose. And each of us should have a question. What is the purpose of God for me? If we can, that's called the journey towards the soul. And we have a tendency to forget about that. And we walk to the world, market value find, not net value. If you are making journey towards the soul means called net value. Net value means, suppose, orange. If you take for an example, an orange is a fruit and it has a value. It is nutritious, or is even the amount, the rate of it is the same. Because it is a creation by God. But market value changes. Same orange in the heart of the city will be $10. In the outskirts it will be even a few cents. Or at the place of where it's on the tree, it may be given free. But the net value doesn't change. Orange is an orange. But only market value changes. That's why all our business, what are we making business? Whole world is making a business. What is the business? Market value. Take from the net value and add the market value. So many kinds of taxes, so much of commissions or profits. In the same way, in our life, especially family life, we should not bargain for market value. We should not bargain for the market value. We should be, that's why family is the family where we can feel at home. There's a saying, when the guests come, especially the hotels, when we reach, some of them to give us good accommodation, they say, feel at home. Feel at home. That means you are not away from your home. This house also is your home. That's why home feeling is different from house feeling or the city feeling. And all of us, God has given us a family as a home. And that kind of magnanimity we need. Magnanimity in our family. Respect, that's why respecting parents or respecting children. And even preparing for children. Young couples, they have a dream for a child. When you dream, that's why if the parents have a dream for the child will have a boost from inside, a psychological upbringing, a psychological support. And that is what the secret of why the child is growing. Like when John the Baptist is born, when the name is to be, what name should be given, then Zachariah and Elizabeth gave John. Then Zachariah's mouth is open. Then what the neighbors said, what this child is going to be? It is a great dream. God has a dream. And Zachariah understood that dream. Elizabeth understood that dream. And now, what kind of person is going to be? Same also. Each of us, our parents dreamt. Before our parents, God has a dream for us. And our parents, if we dream, then you will have a bright future, fulfilling life, contented life, happy life. It doesn't mean that you know difficulties. Difficulties come, but with the hand of God, with the power of God, the difficulties are overcome. That's why prayer is the powerhouse. Now we are sitting here. If the electricity goes off, you will be in the darkness. Immediately will be in the fear. Why? Darkness creates the fear. But if you have power line, power of prayer, and that is the secret of your illuminated lives, enlightened lives, and that gives the secret. So this life, intra-personal development. So first, how I can be healthy, how I can go physically integrated person, psychologically integrated person, and spiritually integrated person. And once I stand on my legs with a healthy growth, surely you will be helping others. Even they have defects, you will incorporate. You don't find fault. Because you have the energy to hold. That's why I say that suppose someone is falling down, you can give a hand. Suppose you yourself are down, can you give a hand? No. That's why we need to have that integrated life, the conviction life, the faith life, then we will be able to. He may be our partner, or our family member, or our friend, or even unknown person. That's why sometimes unknown persons, we help so many unknown persons, because to show that I am a human being. So real human beings interested in the growth of the other. Not mere on my own growth, my own well-being, but also I extend a helping hand to the other who are needy. And that's why humanity is speaking of our charitable work. Because being human means we are able to help others. Then, the last one, for this forward, one of our bishop has written, so this is like antivirus. Again, the technology term I am using. In our digital forms, our computers, we use also antivirus program. Is it so? Antivirus program, so that preserve or intact our program, so they are not corrupted. So also for our life, this rhythm of life is like antivirus. If we can practice, our life will not be corrupted by the world, contaminated by the world philosophy or market value. So it has to be like once we have an antivirus program, we are safe. So also rhythm of life, if we are able to digest and try to live, then by God's grace we have antivirus, where God protects us and God becomes our power. God becomes our power. Yeah, any observations? You are welcome. So I don't want to speak longer, but if any queries or any question, you can please.
I have a question. In your book, can you make it clear what is intrinsic values and inherent values of the material value? You discuss it in the book.
The question is to explain something about intrinsic value and material value. Yeah, I spoke in different language like net value and market value. Market value means to material things we add a value, like a price of it, tag we put. That's called material value. But intrinsic means that's called net value. By God's creation, every existence, every entity has its value. That's called net value or intrinsic value. By birth, by existing, you have value. We cannot reduce it. That's why St. Francis of Assisi always used to say, In front of God, I am what I am, not less, not more. That's why in the market value we say sometimes, I am greater. There should be so many servants to help me. So many security should be there. Because I am greater. And some, you are not great. So you have to be removed from there. That's called market value, material value. So world runs in between these both. Mostly world gives attraction and style of life is the more you are known by people. That's why these celebrities, how they become celebrity, a person, the more they get likes, the more they are followers, the more the fans, they become celebrity. That's called world, market value. But if intrinsic value, by identity, by birth, you are unique. God, in front of God, you are not less, you are not more. That's why we have a perspective, we say. Perspective. Suppose in the simple example what I use always the perspective is, now I am standing here. For me, my back, I cannot see. I don't know what is happening. So equally saying, it doesn't exist for me. Front, I can see everything clearly. And there is a meaning. And I can observe. As I am talking also, I can observe what the things are happening. So also from your perspective, just the opposite. What is happening behind you, you do not know. But what is happening behind me, you know. Because you are observing. So this is a perspective. So also in our life, we need to have a perspective. That's why from the faith perspective which I speak, from the Christ perspective, from the church perspective. So there is a meaning, a special meaning, which may not be appreciated or accepted by the other faith perspectives or other world perspectives. So that's what most of the time our what we say, we are at loggerheads in discussion, contradiction, because perspectives are different. That's why always any special professor or one who is taking class, always one question they ask, do you follow me? Suppose if you say someone is not clear, that means not able to follow. What is the meaning of real follow me? Even Jesus said, follow me. Follow me sometimes, always you have to be behind the teacher, viewing the same perspective. Suppose the disciples are going contrary and the teacher is going ahead, two different perspectives. So for us, Christ's perspective is the real perspective of life. Faith perspective is the real perspective of life. And it is not for some years, like a graduation we do for a few years. No. It's a lifelong learning is there. Lifelong observation is there. And lifelong following Christ is there. So our life is not mere just a human being here, just we live for some years go. But we have come with a purpose to the world. And we achieve, we accomplish and go back. And that is what on a mission we have come. To this world, we are, as the children of God, we have come with a mission. So, am I able to perceive or know what is the mission of my life? Not only for religious, not only for priests, but every member of the humanity has a purpose. That's why divine experience that we say, God experience, when we touch this reality of life, then that comes the joy of life. We experience the joy when you touch the divine perspective in your life. That's why we call this one divine experience, God experience. And God experience takes us, elevates us from the ordinary life. But we need to have that courage. We need to trust God will accompany me. Simple, brother. do you believe? That's what Jesus, before every miracle, Jesus simply asked, do you believe that I can do? In the Gospels, we come across many miracles. What Jesus asked, do you believe I can do? When the person says, yes, Lord, I believe, your belief, your faith is granted. So the same thing also in our confidence. When we say confidence, the word itself is confide. Again, Latin word. The English word confidence is made of confide, with faith. Confidence. That's why we say, have confidence, you can achieve. We encourage them. Because that's God's perspective. Have faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your God, and faith in others. And that's the secret of confidence. Faith, again, confide, with faith. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Father Paul, for the word of the Lord that you shared with us. And I give thanks to God that He allowed you to translate this into these resources. I especially appreciated that you said that the backdrop was being in this world without being of the world, because that's definitely a challenge that many believers struggle with, myself included. So the two questions I have. The first one is, the importance of feeling fulfilled is knowing God's plan. But how do you navigate what God's plan is for your life? And then kind of what you were alluding to earlier about the faith. You have the parable of 4 seeds, right? You have people that, they're discouraged, they're choked by the worries of the world, society norms and stuff like that. So how do you navigate from the seed and the thorns, the rocky soil, to the good soil?
Yeah, I appreciate your questions. Yeah, there is no simple answer for these kind of questions. There is no simple answer which we can download. But we have to make answer. As we say, questions are there, hard questions, but there are also hard answers. Not only question is hard, answer is much more harder than the question. Because we have to live. There is no escapism or there is no exception. Because everything that you dream is not easy. You will not be able to realize your dreams. In our own personal life, even ordinary dreams we may have, even we are not able to achieve them. But still we keep up. We don't give it up. Still we continue. But the inner force, that's why the soul power, the power of God, confidence, the faith keeps us going. Don't worry. God has His own plan. That's why sometimes we plan, God's plans are different. After all, we come to know. That's why it's called blessing in disguise. Blessing in disguise. What does it mean? Sometimes, as we are traveling, suppose there may be a small accident, I may have a leg pain or broken my leg. Because of that, I am not able to play my game. But afterwards, not playing that one may be for my good. But you should have that faith perspective. See, that's why I say, once confide. If there is no faith, our lives are just like animal lives. What is the specialty of being human and being any of the species? Self-awareness, God perspective. And that's why God made humans in His own form and His own likeness. And that likeness is the speciality. And that likeness is me. And I am also God's representative. I am also bearing His face, His likeness. And that comes our dignity, our purpose. And when we can see start from there, and most of our questions are solved. But sometimes we have taking this one, I am not well. See, most of us, there are no perfect beings in the world. All of us are weak, fragile, and we make mistakes. That's why in our life also, one of the secret of happy life is if you are able to forgive others. Most reason is that a best medicine for our life, happy life is learn to forgive. Who? First you have to forgive yourself. That's why Jesus also said, love yourself as you love others as you love yourself. And most of us sometimes we don't love ourselves. We do injury to our own body. We do injury to our own soul. And we do injury to our own psychological well-being. Knowingly, then how we can say, I can love others, I can take others, I can help others. So, if you are aware, your own self, that's why it's called selfish love, it's called self-love. We have to differentiate between selfish love, self-love. Self-love is respect, honor, dignity, and same for others. Selfish means let others happen anything but I should have. Sometimes others may be starving, I should have meal. But if you have self-love, if others are starving, I also will starve. At least my share, mine. So let us all together live. That comes the self-love. So once that self-love is there, our perspective changes. That's why we say, even the perspective is simple. What I use the example is, suppose now it's our hall is almost in white light, we can say. Suppose you want to paint everything within a fraction of seconds red. Is there a possibility? Or green? Is there a possibility? Yes. Just enough to change your glasses. Put a red glass. You see everything in red. You put a black glass, though it's a sunny day, you put black glass, what happens? Very cool. You don't see any sun is out there, but scorching heat is there because you put the glass, black glasses. So also our perspective, if you put a faith perspective, you see from faith perspective God everywhere, God's plan everywhere, and you are also going as a God's representative, child of God, you are going. But when you remove that faith, then only world philosophy, world relationships and market value, then we will be that. So that's our importance. That's why let's say also the theme what we base nuptial ring. That's a representative of our family life. Parents, fidelity to each other and to children. And what the child learns, and all of us we have learned. Before ever we became self-conscious, we have learned from our parents. That's why it's called the learning methods also. There are so many methods of learning. But observation method is the best method and the ancient method. Even now also, most of us will follow observation method. We observe how others are doing. We do other observations done and how they are making. So that is the beauty of learning. So in the family also, children learn from parents. Children learn from parents, or our neighbors, or our relatives, or friends. But first, they are the teachers, basic teachers. And teachers not only, usually learning means by hearing. But the children, infants especially, before 5 years below, their ears don't work. They don't hear. But they hear through their eyes. They see. That's why they need an example. Suppose in the faith life also, suppose parents are coming only Sunday Mass and afterwards they never mention of God, no prayer, that child also sometimes may not come even Sunday Mass. Because they never saw giving a priority to God in the family life. Or when suppose difficult situations come in family, they never saw recourse to God or praying God. And if parents pray and wait in expectancy in God, then surely such kind of children will learn faith by experience, not from books, but from the lives of parents. That's why our Christian community is so important. Sometimes the family all may not be able to get, but when you come to the parish community, Christian community, organizations where faith is lived, shared, and that helps, that boosts. And that's the purpose of our parish community. That's why church first is the unique family, the microcosm, micro level. Macro level is the church, universal church. Then a diocese, then the parish, then communities. So that's why the faith is shared and lived and born witness. Okay. Any other? Or I would like to give the questionnaire. Those who fill the questionnaire, I have a key here. If you want, you can take the key, then you can check yourselves. Each has a value for as a mark. So altogether, if you have 40 questions are 100 marks. Then first question carries 4 marks. If it is yes or no. The questionnaire is given, in that you are asked to give yes or no. Are you interested to know the key? Yes. Yeah? Yeah, if you are interested, I can say the key, then you yourself can find out whether your family helped you to grow in faith and integral life, or yourself has this one. It's up to you. If you want, I can give the key, otherwise it's a self-reflective. Yeah, just I read the number of questions and the value, then you can take it. First question carries 4 marks. First, the question.
Number 4?
Marks. Because such kind of reflective questionnaire helps us to know ourselves and grow. Unless we know, we don't grow. That's all. So for that purpose, I made this questionnaire. Shall we go ahead? Yeah, first one carries 4 marks. Second one carries 2 marks. Third one, 1. Fourth question, 4 marks. Fifth question, 2 marks. Sixth question, 2. Seventh question, 1. Eighth question, 2. Ninth, 4. 10th, 1. These are, if your answer is yes, these are the marks. If you say no to that answer, and no marks. The 11th one. 11th question, 1 carries 1 mark. 12th, 4. 13th, 2. 14th question carries 4 marks. 15th question carries 4 marks. 16th question carries 2 marks. 17th question, 4 marks. 18th question, 2 marks. 19th, 1. number 20 carries 4 marks. (21) 2 marks. Question number 22, 2 marks. Question number 23, 1 mark. Question 24 carries 2 marks. Question number 25 carries 1 mark. Question number 26 carries 1 mark. Question number 27 carries 4 marks. Question number 28 carries 2 marks. Question number 29 carries 4 marks. Question number 30 carries 1 mark. Question number 31 carries 4 marks. Question number 32 carries 1 mark. Question number 33, 2 marks. Question number 34 carries 4 marks. Question number 35 carries 2 marks. Question number 36 carries 4 marks. Question number 37, 2 marks. Question number 38 carries 4 marks. Question number 39 carries 4 marks. The last question 40 carries 2 marks. So this questionnaire is made comprising all aspects of human life. So there are 8 areas of our life where we have to see. That's why these questions are intertwined with all these personal, emotional, and discipline, then positive aspect, then time management, values, and economic discipline, then spiritual. So these are the 8 areas of our life we need. And if 8 areas are growing equally, then you will have integral life, and that's called rich life. There are such kind of people never run out of their resources, peace, joy, happiness. They are well settled, well founded, well footed. That's why the building is remaining here means all columns are equally supportive. So also our life also, these 8 areas, we need the development, equal development. Then only integral life comes. And that's why this question is made. This is for just self-awareness, to know ourselves. That's why all of us, we go just to getting out of our rooms. The last activity what we do in our rooms before coming out, most of us do. Some may not do, but most of us do. What will be the activity that we do just coming out of our room? Just we look into the mirror. Don't we? We just look into the mirror and we come out, so that to show ourselves to the world. So also this questionnaire is just a mirror. If you want to know yourself, it's just a mirror. Suppose if you are not seeing a mirror and going, suppose some shabby things are there on the face, you yourself will not be able to know, but others will look at and they will laugh at. And who is the reason for the laughing at? I myself become the reason, cause for the laughing at. If I am prepared well, dressed well, others will not laugh at me. So also in life, the questionnaire is a mirror, so that if you can grow equally, integrally, that gives the joy of life and growth and good, integral, flourishing and happy. Yeah, with this I conclude. If you have any other queries, we can.
Hi, and thank you, Father, for a great talk. I love it. I bought the book and I was writing a lot of notes. So are we supposed to answer these questions yes or no and then count our total score?
Yes or no? If those who say yes,
Yeah.
they get the marks. If
Yeah.
no means no value.
And then are you going to give us the score?
The score already I given. The number what I gave is the score.
Okay. What if I had a lot of no's on it because my parents got divorced when I was little, I was 5 and I didn't have the good example? How, if I need like a lot of healing, do you have a book on that? Or are you going to write one?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
have.
where can I buy those glasses? I want to buy the God's glasses.
Yeah. See, our past we cannot rewrite, but our future we can dream. Whatever is happened is happened. We have no control over that. But now onwards, consciously, there is a methodology. You know, the counseling there is a methodology. And much more than counseling, first turn to God, turn to prayer, and learn the scripture, and things will start emerging. When we put a seed, the best quality seed, if you don't put in the mud, it will not thrive and it will not grow. So also, best of our skills, best of our family background, sometimes we are not daring to put in the hands of God. We are not daring, we are not challenging to put in the hands of Lord, let thy will be done. That is called a real love. Our faith. But once you do, it's God's work. God is going to work through weakness only. God is not going to work on our strengths. When we say, Lord, I cannot, don't worry, I am there, I will lift you. Only you be faithful to Him. And miracles will happen. The challenges will come. That's called real embarking with Christ. That's why St. Paul says, no, put on Christ mentality. Sometimes our weakness, our wounds are blessings. If you see from faith perspective. Now you can create a new world, new meaning. And even to the world you will become a witness. Even my background was so such and such, but now because of God's power, I am what I am. Amen. And that is the creative power of God. And miracles are yet to happen in our lives. Not only when Jesus lived that time. Even now it's ready to happen, but provided you embark on the boat of Christ. Or like St. Paul said, no, put on Christ mentality. Let thy will be done, Lord. You have a purpose. When in my childhood all these wounds may be there. But you have a purpose. Make use of me. And prayer, scripture, and trust in God will make a life, a new life. Even we never dreamt such kind of will happen. Even I will say my witness, why I wrote this book. Usually, I don't celebrate my birthday on the day of my birth, but in our religious congregation we have a name day. My name is Innaiah, means Ignatius of Loyola. Then July 31st year. But something happened in my younger days when I started my religious life. I was struggling. Did you call really to religious life? If you have called me, give me a sign. Otherwise I can make a mistake. I can be misled. In that journey only, I got TB 40 years back, 1982. Then that time there is no healing for that in India. Then the doctors after this one diagnosis, they said 6 months may live. 6 months may live because it's advanced and there is no. But let us try giving medication. That time my prayer was, I have a strong desire to become a priest. Then I told Lord in my prayer, give me the ways for becoming a priest and you take my life. Then to surprise of us all and me, the medication proved positive and got healed. Then the 6 months have passed by, 6 years are gone, and again I was ordained after 10 years. Then the days are going, years are turning. I reached 60th birthday. According to human knowledge, our science, 6 months. But when I trusted and prayed, Lord, make me a priest and take my life, because I was my life desire. But God's benevolence, God's grace, not 6 months, not 6 years, 60 years. For that, the same witness I celebrate and bore witness to in front, because we need to become witnesses of Christ. It's God's power that made me what I am today. Not me what I am here. Even this talk, this book, I never dreamt I will be translating. Because of some of our friends' request, I made. But all this I was thinking, I was reflecting. That's why my hobby is reading the good books, spiritual books, psychological books, and sharing with others, friends. So I every month write articles, and that is shared, that's reflected. Usually I give talks also to the youth, even the teachers, even junior priests and youth. All of them sharing my experience, sharing the joy of life. And that is what I am here. Today also I am happy to come here to share my life with you, the secret of life. And that's why some asked, I don't know, you also might have. Did you believe that when I said I am 60 years old?
No, because God has given you great youth.
Yes. So in the book you will come across, if you want to be young and strong, active and energetic, enthusiastic, this is the reason. Amen. These are my convictions. And if you can live, that's why if you want to be young and strong and enthusiastic and try to put these words into life, then such people never become tired of living. They will not be tired of life. And they will not have a fear. That's why most of us are dying out of fear. Fear has various nuances. For anything we are afraid of. But with Jesus, you say, with God's plan, God's grace, I can overcome. Confidence. God is with me. The Creator is with me. What the creatures can do? Simple logic. If the Creator is with me, what the creatures can do? Then you start living the unimaginable life with Christ. So that is the beauty, that is the strength, that is the joy. That's why our vocation to be a disciple of Christ, child of God,